you want to introduce yourself, say your name, like what you do at Bill Crothers?
Sure. Okay. So my name is Laura Hogan, and I am a vice principal at Crothers, and this is my third. I'm just coming up to the end of my third year at Crothers as a vice principal.
First question, where were you born?
I was born in Toronto, and then I was raised in Scarborough. And now I live in Pickering. So I haven't
So
gone too far from home.
yeah. So you grew up in Scarborough?
I did. Yeah.
A lot of teachers actually have. From what
Oh,
I've
really?
heard,
Through these
yeah.
interviews? Okay.
How did you know you wanted to be a teacher, or I guess like in the education world?
Um, it seemed to be always the thing that I loved to do. So even as a teenager, I worked at camps in the summer. I was always going to outdoor camps. And then when I became a teenager, I was able to counsel, and I just loved working with kids. So I can't actually remember a time where I didn't do something that had to do with teaching kids or working with them since being a teenager. Yeah. So it just sort of always seemed natural to me. It was something that I really liked. And then as I got older, like my niche of what I wanted to teach or what type of student I wanted to teach became more focused. Since there was one time where I was wondering if I would want to be like a police officer, but that was very short lived for myself because just, yeah, wouldn't have worked out for me. But
Do you have any siblings, and if so, how many?
I do. I am the youngest of four kids,
Yeah.
and then two of my siblings are married, and I count, my in-laws as my siblings at this point. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I have three blood ones and then two bonus ones.
Wait, so like sisters or brothers?
I have two older brothers and one older sister.
Oh, nice. Wait, so you grew up in a family like three siblings?
Three siblings. There was four of us. Yeah, I'm the youngest. I'm the little bratty baby.
Same, same.
Ah, yay!
What are some things you are very passionate about?
Okay. Oh, wow. We're getting deep real quick, Emma. I'm very passionate about specific to education. I've been teaching, and as I say, I've been working with kids since I was a teenager. So I'm passionate about teaching. I'm passionate about special ed in particular, like student services. That was where most of my teaching career was. I loved it. I just felt like I really could help different students. I'm very passionate about helping teachers understand what that means, helping parents understand, helping students know what their strengths are at, and just figuring out how to work around and what tools they need in order to be successful. So I really care about spec ed kids a lot. All kids, of course, but that was sort of my focus. And so that's something that's still like close to my heart. What else am I passionate about? That's sort of like my work life. I'm very passionate about. I'm really passionate about music. I grew up in a very musical family. My mom taught me how to play piano, and so I have a piano in my house, and I practice that. I love to play. I love to sing. So I'm passionate about that. Passionate about. It's going to sound maybe cheesy, but I'm passionate about like the pursuit of like truth. I love like, diving into weird topics. Sometimes I'll get into like a YouTube deep dive or something like that, read different books about different stuff. So yeah, those are my things.
So with the special ed part that you mentioned, do you like participate with that in our school? Because I know we have like classes for that. So are you a part of that too?
As a vice principal, not as part of it as I used to be. I used to be a head of special ed. I was entrenched in it in my teaching career. Definitely, it's something that I like to work with the staff and the students in Crothers regarding that. But it's not maybe as involved. Although I do try to go visit as much as I can.
Yes,
The
yeah.
teachers there are amazing, and I love just to see the kids and yeah, so I do my best, but that's in general too. I missed that when I switched into a vice principal role. I really used to be able to sit with kids a lot more, work with them a lot more, get to know them a lot more. So I really missed that when I became a vice principal at Crothers. So I try to get around, but and walk around and visit with staff and students. I mean, this year when you have like a mask over your face, but yeah.
I think it's just hard as a vice principal to like see everyone. You have a lot to do anyways. What do you like to do in your free time other than school?
Um, I love, as I said, I love to play. I love, so I have my piano, I play that, I have my guitar. So I love to play music, to
You play
listen to
guitar
music.
too? I
I
do
do.
too.
Do you? Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Now I have to confess I haven't picked it up super recently, so I need to get back into that. But
Yeah.
definitely those, yeah, I love music. So that's huge. I just started, thankfully, I just started running again. That used to be something I did when I became a vice principal. I didn't have the same amount of time, or I don't know, maybe the stress of it made it harder for me to be active.
Yeah.
So I've gotten back into that now that I don't have the same commute when I'm working from home and things
Yeah,
like that.
that's
That's been
true.
kind of the the silver lining, I suppose, is that I have a bit of time where I can pursue that. So I'm going to try. My goal is to do 10K by the end of June. That's harder for me. I know that sounds weird at a sports school where kids probably, you guys could probably do that like
Oh, I
no
cannot.
problem.
No.
But so I'm
I
going to
think
try.
it
That's my
depends on the
goal.
students. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's great. It's hard though to run. Like I can never do that. Like run for like longer than a minute. It's bad. But
So
yeah.
that was, yeah, just a year ago. It was one of my goals that I started during COVID time because I just tried a few different goals and I couldn't run at all. And then I got to 5K. Then I kind of overdid it and I hurt myself. So I had to pause. But now I'm like, okay, now I know how to take care of myself. I'm going to try to do the 10K.
Yeah, it just
We'll see.
takes time. It
It
just takes
does.
time. If you could describe yourself in one word, what would it be and why?
Um, the word that just popped into my head is loyal. And I don't know if that's what you're looking for, but I just, friendship and relationships are really important to me. I try to be a loyal friend, a loyal colleague. Yeah, I don't know why that just popped into my head, but I feel like
That's
that's
fine.
one
Yeah,
thing
that's
that
good.
hopefully,
Yeah, that's
hopefully others would
good.
say the same about me, but you have to ask them.
Is one lesson that you've learned so far in life?
One thing that's popping into my head right now is not even just in my role as a vice principal, but just in general, is be quick to listen, be slow to speak, and be slow to anger. That's kind of what I've been concentrating on in life in general, especially that first part, be quick to listen. I think also just in the day and age we're living in right now, there's a lot happening in the world. It's stressful, a lot of
Yeah.
upsetting things happening, and I don't want to lose sight of the relationships with people. And in order to do that, you gotta listen. Um,
Yeah, I also like understand where people are coming from if people are like going through things because I know, especially with teenagers, I've noticed that it's a lot harder right now. It's hard for everyone, but I think this whole thing has just like impacted everyone in a different way. It's hard to understand, but like people need to, I think, be more understanding about it. You know what I
mhm.
mean? But
I
yeah.
do know what you mean. And it's hard to understand if you're not listening to somebody.
Yeah.
So that's why I think that, yeah, that's the basis of anything.
What is something that stands out for you and other people?
Um, their character, and what I mean by that is their trustworthiness. I guess sort of is something that's very important to me. Whether I'm working with them, whether it's in my personal life, how trustworthy are they? That's something that I value. I always joke that like I don't want to lie, and so I people make fun of me for that. But it's something that's really important to me. So I would see that in others as well. Like that's what I would look for. Someone who's, even when it's hard, even if it makes me look bad, I try to always tell the truth. So that I would look for that in somebody else. And
Okay.
also, this might sound so cheesy, but the twinkle in someone's eye, that sounds so silly. But when there's like,
Yeah.
I don't know, life and joy, I suppose, even in difficult
Yeah.
times. I don't know. Of course, that's not always, we can't have that all the time. And I totally get that.
If you could tell your past life one thing, what would it be?
Um, don't always care about what everybody else thinks about who you should be.
Hmm.
Stick to what you know is right. Be who you need to be. And don't necessarily change yourself for anybody else unless they're helping you
Be a better
helping make you be
person.
better, right? Because change is important and I want to grow, but I don't want to be so weighed down by um, what everyone else thinks I should be. I used to be a huge people pleaser, which is just not a healthy way to live.
I feel like everyone goes through that phase though. Like being like trying to please others or fit in. That's a big thing too. But like I think eventually as you grow older you learn that really doesn't matter. You
Mhm.
know? I think that's a huge thing that you said.
Especially for a teenager, right? I
Yeah.
remember those days. That's a
Yeah.
huge part of that peer influence, and it matters to a degree. I get that. I'm not minimizing it, but it matters less than you think as you get older, as you said.
But thank you for coming and participating. Probably see your video on the YouTube channel soon, hopefully.
Thanks,
But yeah,
Emma. That's great.
no problem.
Have a good afternoon.
You too.